Our mission, we help those caught in sexual exploitation to reclaim a life of love, family, and freedom. So these are our core values. We believe in the fact that everybody, every human being is born with the propensity and the right to have a life of love, and family and freedom. So this is really the thread that is carried through everything that we do. It's infused into all of our programs. It's our general approach. We are championing these three core values. Our vision is that we want to see people thrive in a life free from sexual exploitation. So what do we do? How do we go about carrying out our mission and working towards this vision? First of all, we have outreach. So on outreach, we have been going out 5 times every single week of the year, 5 times every week. And we hit all the, actually not all, just a few, just a few of the hotspots, the red light districts in Hong Kong where we know sex trafficking, we know that sexual exploitation is taking place. We go in the middle of the day, we go at night, we go in the early hours of the morning. So there are various times that we take teams out to hit those areas. And the goal here really is to be just to make an initial contact, initial connection with the women and the men who are out there. The way that we do it is we go in teams and we enter into the strip clubs, the brothels, the bars, and the streets and alleys. And we usually come with some sort of a gift. So whether that's, a lipstick, nail polish, hand lotion, just something to approach somebody with and say, hi, my name's Janice and I have a gift that I want to give to you. And it's just a very simple way of conveying that even though you might feel like you're very alone and no one is thinking about you, there are people thinking about you. So the initial contact is a way for us also to give them our card. On it is just our phone number, and if you need help with X, Y, and Z, then please give us a call. We build relationships with girls over time, so we may see the same faces week in, week out. So the first 5 times or the first 50 times, a woman may not want to speak to us. But over time, with the consistency, with seeing the same people show up every time, that conveys a message in itself that there's someone committed to you. Yes.
Are the managers of these establishments letting you in, or is there
yeah, sometimes yes, sometimes no. So I think it depends on the wider climate. There are various kind of criminal forces that we're not too informed about. We don't know exactly, but we have noticed phases and seasons and changes in terms of whether they let us in or out. So I mean, we just go, and we do also get to know the mamasans and the bouncers and the bar managers as well. So
are they nice to you?
Generally okay. Are they nice?
Too.
Generally, yes. Yeah, we've been going on outreach for 10 years. In one specific area 10 years, and then we've added other outreaches. And so a lot of it is based on relationship. And so we really take the time just to say, what's your name? Who are you? We care about you, we love you. So generally, yes. And so we build, even if it's we can't get in, maybe we're not, that close. We go out with respect, and we want to respect everybody.
Yeah, so we do, I mean, that they are the gatekeepers, they're the access points to the girls, so we do also give gifts to them and chat with them and try to get to know them as well. So I said up from outreach, we developed a drop-in center because it was, oh, okay. Yes. Outreach, so easy. Connect with sexually exploited individuals in the brothels, clubs, bars, and on the street. We developed a drop-in center because while it's good to go out and just purely just to go and say to these women, we are interested in who you are. As an individual, I want to know your name and what's your story. That's good. But we also saw some very real, very tangible needs that the women were presenting with. And so we opened up a space where the women can drop in, and honestly, it's a kind of multi-function anything space. So whether you just want to come up and rest and take a nap, you want to come and wash your clothes, do your laundry, you want to come up and make a meal and eat together, you want to come up for a cup of tea and a chat, this is what the space is for. And often the girls live in this almost duality where on the street you have to put on a different persona. They have different names for when they're working. And so while I'm at work, I might be Anna, and everyone on the streets, everyone who knows me, I'm Anna, but then where can they take off Anna and actually be themselves? And so drop-in center is really designed to be a safe space for us to build deeper relationships with the women and the men also, and a safe place to just be themselves. So rather than being Anna, I can be Charlotte, it's safe to do that. We also have a range of other offerings, so whether that is helping to access legal advice and assistance, medical advice and assistance, or even education opportunities. We run a range of classes from our drop-in center, so we do computer literacy, it could be numeracy, it could be budgeting. We have some fun classes, baking, Zumba, so we try to mix it up so that we can really spread our reach as much as possible. And then we have aftercare. So aftercare program was developed, really much later on, where we thought, okay, outreach is good, drop-in is good too. But what about the ones that are telling us, I've had enough and I want out. I don't want to do this anymore. We're stuck with, okay, we have a drop-in center and we can help you to get to, medical assistance, but that was not the need that was repeatedly being presented to us. And in fact, 89% of women in commercial sex industry do not want to be doing it, they want to leave. So our aftercare program was developed as a means to help those men and women who really are desperate to escape, to get out. We have a safe house, in which we invite women who have made that decision to come and live. So it's all free of charge. We provide housing, we provide meals, transportation, but more than that, it's designed towards recovery. And so there's post-trauma counselling, we have caseworking. We really work very tangibly towards, after this 12 months, what's the plan? What's the plan for each woman? What is it that you want to take up after you move on from here? So for some women, it may be, I want to start a small business. Right now, we have women who are training to be nail technicians, and with the view in mind to have that as a viable mobile business. I mean, all you need is your box of tools and you're set. And so in order to reach there are a number of practical steps that need to take place. Find a course, raise money to do the course, complete the course, do a business plan, budget. So we assist with all of these things, caseworking, counselling. And also an important piece is the emotional, the psychological and the spiritual rebuilding and recovery. And so living in the safe house, it's called family home. And it's called family home because our hope that it is a place that feels like family, that we're coming from a life that is so chaotic, that is so full of competition. Every single other woman out there is my competition. That you can come into a place that is like family, and it's family modeled in a healthy way, because many of these individuals have come from abusive childhoods, abusive family histories. Many of the girls are mothers themselves. And so the circumstances most often that led them to where they are now, working on the streets in the commercial sex industry, is really to put food on the table and pay for the education of their children. But because they've been separated from their children for often quite lengthy periods of time, it's almost like, well, how do I even be a mother? And so, all of these soft skills are also part of the programs that we run. It's incorporated into the counselling, it's incorporated into the day-to-day life in family home. Okay, so we are a faith-based organisation. We are Christians, and this is something that, for us, is our energy, our motivation and reason for doing what we do, because we believe that God is love, that He loves and embraces, and that then gives us the capacity to do the same. So we pray, and we faithfully, that's how we started as an organisation, just a group of women who saw the problem and didn't know what to do, so they got together and prayed. And then it just grew and grew and grew and grew into what we are today. One of the newer developments that have grown out of Sons and Daughters is our social enterprise called Restore. And so you see here, it's part of our exit program. So the women who are living in the safe house are the ones who have handmade every single one of these candles. Was hand poured by one of the women who is on the journey, on the way to a transformed life. And so this is one of the skills training programs that we have in our program. So what's the mission of our social enterprise? To reclaim freedom, meaning we empower men and women to reclaim a life of autonomy, to refresh their vision. So our skills training, our counselling all together is really to, I don't know if help is the right word, but yeah, maybe to assist people to rediscover, to recover the capabilities, the talents and abilities that were already in them. And then to restore identity. So aside from the candles, the girls also learn sewing, so they're all budding seamstresses as well. So we have a fashion designer who quit her job and decided to dedicate, her life to helping women, and this is the way that she's doing it. We produce aprons. Actually, I have one here. And these are all sewn by the women. Yeah. Yeah. So these are, we have various different patterns. They're all very cute. We have baby size, kiddie size, and adult size if you want to do matching with your kids or your nephews and nieces. So this is the picture. This is, I guess, the lighter side of what we do. It's bright, it's fun, it smells nice, it looks nice, and it's about restoring and just reclaiming freedom, autonomy for the women. So all the proceeds go back towards the exit funds for the women. So while they're on the program for 12 months and developing their business ideas or their education ideas, all of this will cost money eventually. So we're walking alongside each individual to raise money for their goals. So they have 9 months to raise enough money to buy all the tools to start a nail salon, or buy an oven and equipment to start a baking business. So the money will go into that pot. We release the money to each woman once they've completed the program, and we do it in a planned way so that it's just easy for her to plan a budget.
How many people, say per year, would you say will complete the 12 months? That come through your program?
Yeah, it can vary. It can really vary. As I say, we can have, 5 years of a woman absolutely refusing to speak to us, and then one day she says, "Oh, I want to come." So it's we have a maximum capacity for 6. So we only have 6 beds in the house. So we can accommodate up to 6, but given that each woman stays for a year, we're in it for the long haul. It is not a quick fix. It's not in and out. Kind of. It doesn't work like that. It's intensive. There's so much trauma to work through, just even on the psychological aspect. So we have maximum capacity of 6. We opened the Safe House in 2017, and we've had 8 women through so far, successfully complete the program and reintegrated into the communities of their choice. I did some follow-up trips earlier this year to East Africa, which is where 6 of the women were originally trafficked from. And I just can't, even now, every time I tell this, I don't have the words to convey how amazing. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. One of the women, that I remember when I first met her, and she'd just come off the street. She worked in honestly a stinking pea-smelling alley.
What was her name?
Exodus. Yeah, so she now is the principal of the school.
Wow.
It was a journey to get there, but I mean the amount of capacity and resilience and just drive that she already had. It just needed the right environment and people to come alongside to say you can. And honestly, she went back about a year ago, and in that short space of time she came up with this whole concept. She just saw that in her village there were children who couldn't afford to go to school because even though education is free, they can't pay for uniforms and books and pencils and transportation. And so there's all these children in her village that couldn't go to school. And she decided that initially she'd use part of her exit fund to build a house for herself and her 3 daughters. She decided to dedicate that house to be a place that children can come and learn for free. And from there, then it just began to take off, and she put together a whole proposal. She applied for formal license from the government to become a school, and now she's the principal of that school. I've got videos and photos of the children taking classes. It's amazing. And yeah, it's always tempting for human nature to think, yeah, there's so many out there that need help. How many? But actually, it may, in the example of Exodus, it's one woman.
Mm-hmm.
But that one woman, the power that was unharnessed in her, she was then able not to only impact the lives of her 3 daughters, but the children of her entire village.
Maybe.
And so you never know, you really don't know. And I think that's really, for us, sometimes we think, oh, it's so much work, so intense, it's challenging work. Just put into 3 women or 5 women. But yeah, it's those times when that trip to Africa and just seeing what's going on. Another one, she used her exit fund to rent a property. She renovated the whole thing and is now running it as a bed and breakfast. Mm-hmm. And she has employed 2 local unemployed youth who were previously unemployed. And so again, you can see the ripple effect.
Mm-hmm.
And it's absolutely amazing. It's beautiful.
What percentage of women would you say are have gone through psychological trauma? Is it 100%?
Oh yeah.
And what percentage of women have some sort of drug addiction or alcohol sort of addiction just to cope with what they're going through on a daily basis?
With regards to what percentage of her experienced trauma, it's definitely 100%. I could, just ask each of us in this room today to imagine ourselves, forcing ourselves to have sex with someone that you don't know, that you don't want to have sex with. I mean, that's traumatizing in itself, but to do that several times, up to 30, 40 times a day, every single day. Yes, all of them have encountered and experienced trauma. In terms of addictions, from our experience on the ground in Hong Kong, it seems to be a little bit less than overseas. So overseas, in countries like the UK and the States, we might see a higher incidence of addiction issues. Here it's a little bit lower, but it's definitely present. One of the girls who's currently in our safe house right now was addicted to meth when she came to us. And that's quite common.
Was it addicted to
meth?
How do they arrive on
Yeah.
the issue of immigration?
Yeah, so most of the accounts that I have come across, there's always some form of fraud, deception, or coercion, and that's the definition of human trafficking. And so usually it's maybe a recruiter in the hometown of the girl. Very nice, kind of warm auntie, like older lady, befriends the girl. Oh, poor you, you're so tough for you, you're single mother or whatever. I can help you. I can, there are jobs if you give me your documents, I can arrange for you to get a job. Most often the girl doesn't know where she's going, and she just blindly trusts. Just hoping, trying to, clutch at straws, anything. My children don't have enough food, and I can't clothe them. So they promise jobs like, you can work in a hotel as a housekeeper or as a kindergarten teacher. We'll arrange it when you get there. So girl hops on the plane and lands in a foreign place where she doesn't speak the language. She has no idea what's going on. She doesn't know where she is until she's actually landed. And there's one person who was sent to pick her up that speaks her language. So if that were you, what would you do? Feeling completely disoriented, you'd probably go with that person. And then girl gets transported to usually a hotel where there are many other girls being kept and put to work.
Sorry, I don't know if I missed this, but your exit program, that's during the aftercare, so they've left the industry and they've entered this program for 1 year.
Yeah.
Can you briefly walk us through exactly what happens during this 1 year?
Yeah, okay. So, Julie?
Why don't you come over?
Come on up.
Hello, everybody. So the aftercare is really exciting. As Janice said, it's a time when a woman says, I want out, I'm done. And so, the place where they come to us, they're motivated, they've decided, but like we mentioned already, there's a lot of the trauma still there that they're still going through. So during the 12 months, they receive counseling, and they also receive casework. And so the counseling is to address the psychological, emotional needs, and then the casework is to address the practical needs. And so have you heard the term, it takes a village to raise a child? In this case, it takes a village to really help somebody get back on their feet again. And so that's why, we have the year program. That's why we really focus individually, and that's why we get a lot of people around to support her. She's heard a lot of negative things in her life. The industry is very, very negative. It's hard to wrap your head around. And so we want to model healthy friendship, healthy community, healthy family for these ladies. So there's a lot of even people just to come and teach how to paint or how to do something relaxing, something like that. But again, that's modeling healthy relationship plus adding some skills. So there's a lot of that. And then this restore part is the skills-based training program that these women undergo for the 9 to 12 months. So they're learning practical skills. They're meeting with the caseworker to think about what am I going to do when I go home and what do I need to do to actually make that work. And then they're also learning these practical skills and building their exit fund as well. And part of this is also to get to learn just basic work ethic, routine, schedule, depending on whatever the training is, just getting into a work habit so that it's not so shocking when they return home. So all of it is to help this woman. What's it going to be like when you go home? How can we best prepare you for that and empower you to make sure that you can go home, stay home, and not have to come back into the industry?
Sorry, one more question. Their exit fund, is there a small percentage that's purely donation? I know it's all donation, it's some sort of social enterprise, but or is it like 100% that they've earned that exit fund, or is there like a smaller percentage that's pure donation, or is it like how does that work, the exit fund?
The exit fund, so whatever they produce, whatever is in the exit fund, 100% goes back to them, to helping them, whatever their dream is.
Like the exit fund that they leave with, do they work for all of that, or is some of it like donation, or is it like?
Yeah, some of it is donation. So basically, for each woman, it's kind of customized, you could say. So, someone who wants to open a beauty salon is going to require a different budget to someone, who wants to take a course. So depending on the amounts, the caseworker works alongside the women. And the key here is collaboration, that we are not doing to, we're not doing for, we're doing with. We do together. And so we don't really like to use the word earn so much, but it is, I guess it is, because it's her efforts. She knows that she's put her hands to do this, and that creates a sense of empowerment that I can and I am, and it creates a sense of ownership, because we've learned from years of history of charities and NGOs, well-intentioned but not doing well at all, by just coming in, kind of steamrolling over an entire community, giving them stuff and leaving. And what happens? You come back in 5 years' time, the water pump's in disrepair, no one's using it. So it's that sense of, actually we're not in this to do stuff to people or for people, because what happens after we duck out, right? So it's all about building capacity and empowering, and so there's different methods that a woman fundraise. Part of it is the candles, part of it is the aprons, but we encourage each woman to come up with their own fundraising project idea. So, for example, in the past there have been women who've hosted dinners, they've cooked and just invited a group of people over, talks about, Sons and Daughters, and this is the idea that she wants to do, kind of like Dragon's Den, kind of pitching the idea to people who already supported anyway. But so there are bake sales, there are various different ideas depending on who the woman is. And,
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
When they exit, is it much about, is it hard for them to actually exit? Is there a lot of, obviously with whatever forces are on how they got there and things like that, is it actually hard for them to exit, or is it more like once they make the decision, you guys help to exit them, or have you encountered people that want to exit but physically you cannot get them out of there, or?
There have been a few kind of nail-biting times where it's felt like, we were on some covert mission.
Yeah.
We had to coordinate pickups and detours and to avoid being followed. So there are those, and then there are also situations where the woman just leaves, just packs up and goes.
And then once they're in the safe house, are they also integrating still in the community here in Hong Kong, or are they they're kept kind of away so that no one can see them because maybe they left, or are they still kind of integrated into society, or?
Yeah, it's really a risk management approach that we're taking. So we do risk assessment on every single case, and most cases it's just generally not just even safer, but it's healthier and more conducive to recovery, not to go back into the environment immediately. So our safe house is a bit further out.
Yes.
It's not with loads of people and things going on around. And that just tends to be more conducive to things like focusing on self-care and getting your balance back.
If you had a magical wish list of 3 things that would really help what you guys do, what would those 3 things be? It could be like, I don't know, more people to do outreach, or it could be like money, or it could be like products. Yeah, it could be products, it could be donation of lipsticks. Like, what do you need?
I mean, as I mentioned, we are in the business of empowering individuals. And so as much as, I would say support our social enterprise. Christmas gifts, birthday. Take a look and support these women that way. We would love for our social enterprise to really take off and be successful. I mean, that's the biggest encouragement, to the women, because they know it's theirs. It's not just someone giving money for nothing. So that's definitely one way. Volunteers, for sure. We are always recruiting volunteers to come out with us on outreach. We provide training, and there is ongoing debriefing and supervision and training that goes on as well. There is a minimum 6 months commitment to do it twice a month, so 2 times a month for 6 months. I would say volunteers, and it's not only outreach, as Julie mentioned, it takes a village, and we like to surround the girls with opportunities to meet people that they never would have met before, in being in the commercial sex industry, because that really builds up. And so we're looking for class instructors. If you have skills, if you're great at teaching computers, or you can teach English, or you can teach baking, or anything, photography, anything, anything at all. That is a really great way to get involved and also to support Sons and Daughters work.
So you have can they speak English or Chinese? Or
They
you have
speak
people who
English.
can translate or speak?
Yeah, they speak English. We're looking for Spanish-speaking volunteers, actually, because there are a number. There's definitely a growing number of South American girls now in Hong Kong, and they're very tightly controlled by gangs. But we have had opportunities. It's just that we don't have the language. We necessarily communicate that much with them.
Sorry, do you have like stats on the girls on your website or anything, like just to give us like a basic idea of how many girls are out there on the streets in Hong Kong? Like
That's a question that I would love an answer to as well. If I had a research person on my team, I would send them out and do research, because it's so thin in Hong Kong. Honestly, the research in this into this area is so thin in Hong Kong. There are estimates that vary wildly from 200,000 to 250,000. It's crazy. I mean, from our experience in that is being out there on the ground, week in, week out, just us, our teams alone, will see around 300 girls every single week. And that's not even the tip of the iceberg.
And what areas do you usually hit?
We hit Temple Street, Yuen Long, Wan Chai, and Causeway Bay.
Do you have the advertising to let them know where they can find you?
So when we do outreach, we give them little cards that says Promise House. That's the name of our drop-in centre. If you need help, call this number. So that's what we have. It's a fine balance between making ourselves known to the girls and not making ourselves known to the pimps. So we can't put ads, and we can't be too visible.
Have you ever faced any heat or unwanted attention from them? Because obviously it's their product in their eyes in a sense, right?
Yeah, we're taking away their money.
You're taking their money. So I mean, have you ever had any issues?
We've been chased out. There's been times when we were chased out of brothel buildings. Who had something thrown at her? One of us.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you've
In one of the
been
buildings.
endangered yourself.
Yes, but I mean, I've done outreach for 6 years plus. You know, we've had teams for 10 years, and I think we couldn't do it the same way as if we were in, say, Mexico. Just one of the realities of Hong Kong is that it's safer here than maybe some other countries, and so for us that's a blessing. You know, we're obviously safe when we go out. We use common sense, and in the 10 years, really, I can count on my hand the number of we got chased out or somebody did this or somebody did that. It's quite small, so.
And how big are the teams of outreach? You all go together, or you have like different teams that will hit different places at one time at night, or like all different areas, or is it one team and you all go together to the same place, or?
We never, so one team, so for example, maybe, our Thursday night team might consist of 10 volunteers, and we would split them up so that we can cover more ground, but we're never in teams of less than 3.
Yeah.
Do a lot of girls just leave on their own, not coming to you? But I'm trying to figure out the 8th woman who left over the last few years. Is that unusual, or do women leave all the time?
It's difficult. It's a mental, emotional, spiritual trap. Once you're in it, you don't see the way out. Women, they get accustomed to the lifestyle. They're earning good money. They buy handbags, they get the nails done. So it becomes almost like it's possible to even be addicted to doing sex work, because it just the majority of women who are in the commercial sex industry have already experienced abuse and trauma in their childhood, so they're coming in with very unhealthy self-image, self-esteem, and so coming into this, suddenly I can, I feel like I can have control over a man with my body. So in that sense, it sounds weird, but that it does play out in a woman's head like that, where she feels like, oh, now I have power, I can make money, I can, and it makes me feel good to put on nice clothes. It makes me feel good to wear a nice handbag. So that's part of the trap. The other part is also, aside from all of that, is actually the very real needs of maybe 3 kids back at home who are depending on her for school fees and food and rent. And so when you get accustomed to a certain standard of living, it's very difficult to think, how can you stop? It's like me saying to you, tomorrow I want you to stop working.
Yeah.
But how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going? Yeah. So it's that part of it is the financial, and then the other part is the psychological impact of having your dignity eroded away repeatedly. These women get to the point where they have no hope and they feel like they can't. Who's going to want to employ me? I'm 30. I'm nothing. A lot of women come with those feelings about themselves, and so a spontaneous, okay, I'm just going to get up and leave and never come back to this is very rare. Yeah, from what we've seen.
Have you ever been in a situation where you've been on outreach and maybe a woman's like, I want to get out, but I can't, help me,
yes,
basically, and in those cases, have you been successful in getting them out, or has it been not every case? If someone's telling you I want to come and join your program, have you been able to physically get them out?
Yes and no. I think It's hard to answer that generally because every case is very unique and very different, and the countries that the women come from are there's a range. So we work with foreign women. There are local groups who do a great job working with a lot of the locals. We really focus on the women who are not being reached, and so they're from all over the world. And so with that comes different, even logistical issues, and so. Sometimes, yes, it's it's really been a right fit, the right time to maybe take them into our transition program. Maybe they need to go back home and connect with somebody safe there, and so we've done that as well. And so yeah, we've traveled to every country. Except for South America, to every country that has been represented by the women that we know so far, and try to connect with on the ground people there that are safe, that we trust, that we can say, here's this person, let me connect you with them. When you get back home, they can help you.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much
We can
everything.
ask Candace to come up.
So, hello everyone. My name is Margaret, and I just felt really passionate about this project, and I connected Janice and Candace, and I did not know this issue existed in Hong Kong or the world, and I was just really surprised because we're in the 21st century. Right? We have women who are prime ministers, women who are CEOs, and all of us are educated. And the only difference between us and them is that it's where we were born. Right? If we were born poor, maybe we would be in the same situation. So I think women are naturally very connected, and women are naturally very nurturing. So, men, if there were issues, they may or may not talk about it, but we're naturally very community oriented. So, my objective for bringing everyone together today was just to start the conversation and give more exposure to this kind of topic. I think if we can solve climate change and cancer and children's charities, elderly issues, we can definitely tackle this issue, and hopefully within this lifetime, right? So there's so many of us who are doing very, very well, top of our industries. So there's a lot of women who are being left behind, and that does not necessarily need to be the case. So I really thank you all for coming. I thank Janice and Julie for being the speakers tonight. If you have not visited Promise House, I really encourage you to do so. It's like a beautiful living room. It's like your beautiful, comfortable living room. It's a beautiful space. It's in Wan Chai. And if you have a skill or if you have a connection for retail points where we can sell, or other skills that you might want to donate. I'm in marketing, so we donated the website and communications for the charity. And please do get in touch if you feel moved by what you heard tonight. Okay, so thank you very much. There's lots of food left, right? And thank you so much to LifeHub, which is an amazing healthcare center here in Hong Kong.
Thank you.
Please get some candles tonight, and for your friends or for yourself, for your meditation practice. Thanks. And I'm sure Janice is going to be making